life was not going the way we thought it was going to go. Your life is but a vapor. You don't really know what's going to happen. And so opening your hands with your plans and saying, God, whatever you will, like, I'm going to trust you.
Well, welcome back to another episode where we're talking about this album that you made. And what song are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about Turn the Page.
Cool.
We're going to turn the page into a new episode. Mm-hmm. So Turn the Page is a song that I wrote around the same time as Love Anyway.
Okay.
In a season where life really shifted for us. Like, we thought we were going one direction and something changed and we're actually going this direction. Yeah. And so it was a season where I was learning a lot. And so I was processing a lot of it through writing these songs. So it happened. I remember the exact day because it was April 1st, 2022. And I was standing in the kitchen making breakfast for my kids. And I was like, oh, time to turn the page of the calendar because I'm old school and have a paper calendar.
Yep, makes sense. All adds up.
Elder millennial here.
Yep.
And so as I was turning it, I'm looking at March and it just hit with how different life seemed on March 1st versus March 31st. Mm-hmm. There was something even like so blatant, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like welcome dinner or something on the 1st, and then the 31st was like going away party. It was something like that where it's like, wow, life was not going the way we thought it was going to go. Yeah. And the month of March really like held a lot of change. And so I just remember this feeling of turning the page that felt really monumental and like simultaneously exciting that like, okay, fresh start, Yeah. What does God have for us this month? Yeah. And also a sense of humility and like, you don't know what a month holds, much less a year or a lifetime. So let's not be so bold as to say, this is what I know God is doing. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, you have to hold everything with open hands, that God can give and he can take away. And so that's kind of this little moment that turned into, I wrote the majority of the song in my kitchen after turning the page of the calendar, just kind of came out all at once.
What was that experience like for you? Because the song is really upbeat and exciting and is like this, like, yeah, we're going to like turn the page and who knows what's going to happen next. Yeah. But like in light of the circumstance, it was like, it feels like an anthem song that you were like hoping you'd feel.
Yeah.
Like for the circumstance, you're kind of like, I'm trying to will myself.
Some excitement here.
Yeah.
Yeah. After some disappointment. Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a fun thing about the song is it does have a lot of energy. And a lot of that energy came from the time that we played it together and like practiced it for when we were going to record it. So as friends who just play instruments, we're like, let's see what happens when we get together. And and like the minute we started playing it, it had this energy to it. Yeah. And it kind of stays consistent throughout. It has like the train on the tracks kind of feel, it's like we're just chugging along. Yeah. And to me that is sort of like, it feels like you just keep walking.
You just got to keep going.
You keep going and you stay on the tracks and you trust that it's going in the right direction.
So do you feel like now being on this side of the calendar, like, do you feel like you look back at even that season of being like, wow, that is not how I thought that was all going to turn out?
Yeah.
Are you now like, hey, that was actually, we're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But in that moment, again, I'm just going back to like it just being such a fun, upbeat song and it being like, the truth is there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, given that circumstance, that I would have been like, turn the page.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it is like you're saying something that you're hoping to feel as you go along.
Yeah.
But definitely, I feel like pretty quick in retrospect, we were able to look back and go, God was in this change. Yeah. Like, I even think he was in the buildup of what we thought was going to be.
Yes. Yeah.
And even when it changed, he was also in that.
Yeah.
there were lessons being taught. There was healing being brought about, even in that little circumstance.
What do you think the lesson has been about turning the page for you?
I think it's in the songs. I mean, having the humility to go, your life is but a vapor. You know, you don't really know what's going to happen. And so opening your hands with your plans and saying, God, whatever you will, like, I'm going to trust you. And you have to make your plans, you know, and you move forward with them, but then opening your hands and going, you bring about what you want. So that the humility was a big lesson in that. And I mean, Love Anyway was a huge lesson in that season too, of just, you know what? Life is going to have hurts.
Yep.
Relationships are going to have hurts. But you love anyway. You keep opening yourself up, because that's where growth is. That's where God is. And, yeah. So, and the reason I have this open is because I didn't actually have a bridge to that song when I first wrote it. But as I was getting ready to record the demo, I'm like, I feel like it needs a part. And I kept thinking of James 4, this part, and chapter 13, chapter 4, verse 13, come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. And I was like, that bridge came together once I kind of put those verses together in my mind, that those fit, you know, and that our life is but a vapor. One day it's here and then it's gone. Tomorrow may hold something you never counted on. And then the iconic yelling of Turn the Page by Nicole Windbags Weatherly. I'm so glad I remembered that you're Windbags.
Yeah. That's not even where that nickname originated, was it? Or is it that one? Oh,
it is because it was the and then turn the page. And it was all in the bridge of that song. So we got together and played that song with friends, and that was just such a fun experience. That where the song really took shape, and it felt like this is how it should sound. You know, I mean, I think when I initially wrote it and played it for you, even like it was like, this is a full band song.
Yeah, you could hear it the first time. It was like, we got a chug here. Right. I can hear what the sound of the brushes on the snare would be like. There's that kick that's going the whole way through, and like you could just hear all of those pieces.
Yeah, and this was the first song I'd ever written that I was like, this is the spot where there should be a guitar solo.
Yeah.
That's never been a thing I've had in one of my songs before.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of a couple songs on the album that just like have a consistent and steady like feel through the entirety of the song. Because some of the songs, if you listen to the first 30 seconds of the song and the last 30 seconds of the song, you'd be like, these are two different songs. Yep. They are so like different as you go along in the song. But Turn the Page is one that's just got this steady. You just keep moving forward, which fits the message of the song too.
It was so fun having that time to like work through all the details of the song too. Just because it came so organically, and you've also like in you writing this album and putting it out has actually afforded even me I used to dream of having friends that would want to like play music together, and that we would just jam, and that something cool would come out of it. And even in the times that we've been practicing the songs for your concert, like it's just been so fun and so fruitful to I don't know. I think that this one in particular, like I look in that room and you're like, we did turn the page, didn't we? Because in this room sits people that you would have never known.
Yep.
You would never have been doing it with these particular people and producing the album with these people had you not been faithful to turn the page.
That's so
you
true.
know?
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
it's so, and you don't know what that's going to be like. Like, what is the next month going to bring? If I close my fists the entire time and hang on to what I already have, there's beauty in letting go and allowing it to be what it's going to be in the next season. And if you don't, you'll never know what it would have been to just turn the page.
Yeah.
You know?
And it makes me excited for recording again. Yeah. Because I feel like my next album or the next project I work
You'll be
on.
at another new church.
No,
I'm just kidding.
But
We'll
it'll
have
be
new people.
No, but it will be like, I love the idea of collaborating on the direction of the song before we go into the studio, because this one, I had these songs and I'm like, I don't know what exactly they'll sound like yet, but one step at a time. But then as we're all playing them together, they're getting direction.
Yep.
But I'm like, I already recorded it. Like, we can't really make those changes now. But I'm like, next time we're going to have played them all, whatever new songs we write together, that collaborative process could be like the song already has its shape before we go into the studio. And that will just make the process even more fun than this one has been. So
I think that this process has also been fun because it's like you got to see whether or not you could trust the people that you were going to do some of the music with. And so now it's like, what could come next? You're like, oh, they had good ideas, or this was a really cool, unique part, or they play things a little different than I do. Like, whatever that is, it's like there was a trust that was built in that time. And
you know, a huge part of this process for me too has been learning to trust my own ideas.
Yes.
Like,
for real.
It has been a big stretch for me.
Yeah.
Because I like other people having the ideas.
Real quick, what song do you feel like you had to work that out the most in?
Well, Sing in the Waiting is the one that was like, I knew that it didn't feel right yet.
Okay. So we'll save it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear that of which song felt like I had to work that part out the most in my own mind, and like,
that one. Yeah. And then also Love Anyway. I remember standing at the kitchen sink doing dishes, thinking through that song. And I was like, I say it's worth it. I'm like, what if I did that? What if like background vocals did that and had that idea? And I was just like, I don't know. And then we did it and it sounded so good. And I was like, I can have good ideas.
I do have good ideas. I am an artist. Like, you're like, everybody around you is going like, no crap. Like, you're the one who wrote literally all of this. Of course you have good ideas. Yeah. It's funny how you tend to think that the part of just writing the entire song. Yeah. That's not the good idea. But that part where I go, turn the page. Oh man, she's just brilliant. I'm like,
well, it is like we need each other, which is the beautiful thing.
And that's great. And you can say all of that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, like, remembering, like, you wrote the whole stinking song. That was you trusting yourself and that you do have good ideas.
I just feel myself moving into a new stage creatively where I'm like, you can trust your ideas with other people. Yes. Because that's the stretch for me. Like, I can sit by myself and write a song and be like, yeah, I wrote a song. Yeah. But it's with other people going, what if we did this? That's the growing.
But you don't feel that when you're literally like, here's a song I wrote, and then you hand it to people. You don't feel it with that part? That part feels less?
That part feels, I'm just more used to that part, I think.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. You'll write the whole song and bring that to everybody and be like...
Because it feels completed. Yeah. And it's like, I did. But the idea, it's more vulnerable to me to go, I don't know, I just had this idea. What do you guys think of it? Yeah. Is more likely to be like, I don't know, what's the worst that would happen? But for some reason in my mind, it's just like, it feels so vulnerable to have an idea about like the production of a song. So...
You're funny. I mean, I think I understand why and everything. You would think that the whole part of like bringing an entire done song to people and them being like, wow, I really like that would be enough for you to go, if they liked the whole package, they might like my idea to say, you know.
Well, and it's also not even just about other people. It's like, do I even like this? You know?
Yeah.
Like, and that's been part of this process too, is like, do I like how this sounds? Don't even ask Nicole.
Do I have an opinion about this by myself?
Yes, I should. I don't need to ask Nicole if this is good or not. Just you decide.
It can be good
right.
just to you.
Yeah.
And that would be fine.
Like that
would be fine just on its own. Mm-hmm. Like Nicole's opinion actually doesn't have to dictate it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Anyways, all right. Well, let's listen to
Let's
Turn
do
the
it.
Page. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.